Hi everyone, I'm Fabiano Pecorelli, a PhD candidate from the University of Salerno, and today I'm going to present the work carried out in collaboration with Dario Dinucci and published in the Science of Computer Programming journal. Bug prediction is the software engineering field that aims at locating potentially defective source code components in a software system. During the last decades, researchers have been proposing various implementations of bug prediction, supervised versus unsupervised learning, within versus cross-project training, and so on. One of the aspects that more influences the performance of machine learning models in predicting defects is represented by the selection of the classifier. For instance, Gotra et al. Have demonstrated that a suboptimal selection of the classifier can decrease the performance of bug prediction models up to 30%. Additionally, a study by Panichella et al. Reports that different classifiers are able to correctly predict the defect proneness of different classes, so they can in some way complement each other. These findings have motivated the definition of alternative approaches able to exploit the complementarity of classifiers. Those approaches take the name of ensemble techniques. Not so long ago, we proposed an ensemble technique named ASCII, Adaptive Selection of Classifiers in Bug Prediction. ASCII is able to dynamically select, through a classification model, the machine learner to be used to predict the defect proneness of a class, based on its characteristics. The approach has been preliminarily evaluated, showing promising results. In this work, we provided a large-scale empirical investigation aiming at verifying the generalizability of our preliminary evaluation. Further, we also compared ASCII performance with the ones obtained by a standalone classifier and 6 alternative ensemble techniques. In the context of our empirical study, we defined 3 main research questions. First, we assessed the performance of ASCII in a within-project scenario and compared it to alternative state-of-the-art ensemble techniques. Then, we performed the same assessment, but in a cross-project scenario. Finally, we assessed ASCII performance in a local cross-project scenario. The context of our study consists of 21 open-source systems, already reporting information about independent and dependent variables. As independent variables, it reports class size along with a bunch of CK metrics describing other static aspects. As a dependent variable, a simple boolean is used. True values refer to classes that are actually buggy, while false values refer to non-buggy ones. In order to remove possible noise or erroneous entries, we applied data cleaning. In particular, we removed constant features and features with missing values from the dataset. Then we applied the linear normalization in the 0-1 interval, relying on the normalization filter already implemented in Weka. And we also applied the correlation-based feature selection in order to reduce the correlation between independent variables. Finally, we applied the synthetic minority oversampling technique, better known as SMOTE, to ensure training sets having a similar proportion of buggy and non-buggy classes. After having performed all these pre-processing steps, we trained all the experimented classifiers. We selected naive Bayes as it was found to be the best standalone machine learner over our dataset. To perform this selection, we conducted a preliminary experiment in which we tested 7 standalone classifiers. As ensemble baselines, we relied on boosting and bagging implementations built using naive Bayes as weak learner, and then we also considered average and max voting, CodeP, and random forest. We assessed the prediction performance relying on the Matthews correlation coefficient. Besides comparing the MCC values obtained, we also performed the Nemeni test for statistical significance. Results of our empirical investigation are reported in the following slides. In the context of within-project bug prediction, we found that ensemble techniques perform better than the standalone classifier. The models based on validation and voting achieve slightly better results, but they are similar to those obtained by other ensemble techniques. As for cross-project defect prediction, we found that none of the experimented models exceeds 25% in terms of MCC achieved. This means that identifying buggy classes using external sources is still an open problem. Finally, as for local learning, we found that local learning often does not improve the performance of bug prediction models. The only exception is represented by ASCII, in which the local project setting slightly improves the performance. However, the statistical analysis highlighted that local and global models' performance are mostly equivalent. Before closing the presentation, let me report the main outcomes of the study. First, the problem of cross-project bug prediction still needs noticeable attention in order to devise methodologies to properly transfer external information into a new context, especially because existing local learning methods and ensemble techniques do not represent a suitable solution yet. Then it seems that within project models' robustness cannot be improved by means of ensemble techniques. Thus, more research is needed to overcome this limitation. Finally, the use of more sophisticated techniques to mix different classifiers does not provide immediate advantages. Thus, developers need to carefully evaluate the suitability of ensemble methods before using them. This concludes my today's presentation. Thank you for watching.
Hello, everybody. Some problems are still there. Anyway, Fabiano is here, and the first question that I have is about the results of the empirical study you performed. Basically, none of the experimented approaches can reach high performance, neither when considering within or cross project. So what would be your recommendations, and when should we use one approach rather than another?
Thank you for the question. Very good point. Likely, in my opinion, the problem could be associated with the use of machine learning itself for bug prediction. Based on my short experience in the field, machine learning approaches are unable to achieve high performance when dealing with unbalanced problems in general. Indeed, I've encountered the same issues in different fields of application, such as code smell detection or vulnerability detection.
Okay, and do you think that approaches like deep learning or anomaly detection could work instead?
Basically, I think that anomaly detection could help in this case, because anomaly detection is thought to discover rare cases in the data, so it is defined for unbalanced problems. Since bug prediction is an unbalanced problem, applying this kind of approaches could help in some way to achieve pretty higher results.
Okay, so I guess that this is similar to the question Gemma is asking on chat. What do you suggest as the next steps in the field?
Okay. In my as next step in the field, I think that first of all, we could apply some software engineering for AI approaches to try improving the performance.
Again, probably the author has been automatically redirected to the discussion room while I'm here, I guess. Okay, we have 20 seconds left. Please, the interested ones, just go to the discussion room. We will work together with the Cloudar team to solve this problem for the next session. Thank you all for attending, and sorry for the inconvenience.